All right, welcome back to the episode of the Fan Connection podcast. Today, it's just Berta and I. Ponch, unfortunately, cannot be here, but good luck to him in his rugby game today. So, obviously, we're rooting for Ponch. But Berta and I are here today. We're here to talk about Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. We're also here to preview Game 5, which is tonight. And when this goes live, it should be live before the game starts, like just in time. So, that'd be awesome. And then we're going to talk a little bit about two things going on in the offseason. One, Luke Richardson is signing or has signed or they're finalizing the deal with Chicago as their new NHL head coach. It's a great hire, in my opinion, but we'll talk about that later. And then there's a new free agent signing out of the KHL, I believe. Yeah, I think he played in the KHL in Vancouver, and I'll let Berta cover most of that. Obviously, as a Vancouver fan, he'll have a better inside scoop than I. So, Berta, what did you think of Game 4? Should the goal have counted? Does it matter? What do you think?
Okay, so I can answer both those questions. It should not have counted, but does it matter? No. Because leading up to that, Colorado was definitely outplaying them, especially in overtime. And even leading up to that specific goal, they Tampa kept trying to clear the puck out constantly, like 3-4 times in a row, and Colorado just kept shooting it back in every single time. So I get it, right? Like it was too many men, but I mean, it was so close, first of all, and also like Colorado definitely deserved to win anyway.
Yeah.
Vasilevsky was playing amazing that whole overtime, but yeah, man. I mean, only so much can like add up until something erupts, right? Like even just throughout the whole game, or at least the third period, the whistles definitely went away, and Tampa Bay got away with like a lot of
Yeah.
really easy calls, like especially Kadri right in front of the net, and it's pretty poetic that he ended up scoring the game-winning goal, but right in front of the net, he got tripped up, and that wasn't called, and that was like late in the third period or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe it was overtime. I can't remember, but
It was
yeah.
there was a few in overtime that could easily got called too against Tampa Bay. And here no one saw it, but I have a tweet from last night, or not last night, but Wednesday night at the game. Can I find it? Hang on. But I tweeted out. I'm gonna try to find it here on my profile. It didn't get much traction, obviously, because I'm very small on Twitter. But I wrote, this is what I wrote during the game. This was before overtime, before anything happened. Thank you for the follow, Hypnotic, by the way. I think you just refollowed there, but it's all good, bro. I appreciate it. A quick misclick there. But I wrote, it's embarrassing to me that the officiating tonight is the best the NHL has to offer. ... I understand it's the playoffs, but what even is a penalty at this point? That was me in the second period.
Yeah, it was honestly insane. Like as you know, I was in Kelowna through the whole first round almost.
Yeah.
And yeah, we watched the first half of the game at a bar, and everybody was already like saying what you were saying, and then it was just constant, like just like so many things were just like not being called, and I was so confused. I mean, I get it. It was fun hockey to watch, but still, like, come on. There's some blatant, obvious calls that were just missed. And yeah. So how do you feel about the goal, though? Do you also agree?
I don't care, honestly.
Yeah.
Like you said, or kind of like I said in my tweet, and like you just said, the refs weren't calling anything. John Cooper knew they weren't going to call that. Everyone knew they weren't going to call that. It wasn't like if honestly, like that wasn't really the difference maker anyway. You can't let a guy get in like that on a blatant rush like that. I'm not blaming Vasilevsky. The dude kept you in the game for overtime. So there's so much controversy, obviously, but you know what? It's the playoffs. Everyone knows I know the statistics support the refs calling about the same amount, but let's be honest, their what's the word? Not requirement or criteria, but like their standard is so much higher for what is a penalty. You know what I mean? So like in the regular season, a small hook or a trip was called almost every time, and you knew it would be called. Whereas in the playoffs, a small hook and a trip is never called. It's just playoff hockey, and it's only the blatant reactionary stuff that's called in the playoffs, or like a high stick or puck over the glass, and that happens more often because the games are tighter, and that's why you'll see an equal amount of penalties called, but the standard for the penalties is vastly different, and that's what fans hate about officiating in the playoffs. So long story short, I think the goal should count. Kadri deserved it. He earned it. The Avs earned it. Honestly, with their play, they could have ended the overtime several times before that. So Tampa's lucky, or was lucky, to even be alive at that point. So anyway, we'll see how tonight goes. I think John Cooper kind of redacted his statement a little bit. He kind of went back and said, you know what, I overreacted a bit.
Oh
I was just very emotional, and he kind of went back. He didn't go back on his works. I think he's still like it's objectively too many men on the ice. I think anyone who knows what too many men on the ice is knows that was too many men. But he did go back a little bit and say, look, it's playoff hockey. We understand, like it's just very different from regular season hockey, and he knows it's not going to get called. So
Yeah.
and him complaining about it won't change anything either, which is actually very mature of him. So I very much respect John Cooper as a coach for many reasons, and that's one of them. For tonight's game, I'm going to call it right now. Tampa's winning. It's just I have a feeling, man. I knew they were going to beat Montreal last year. As a Habs fan, I was obviously rooting for my team, but watching the games, I was like, there's no chance. I knew we were just outmatched. I know we had so many injuries up to that point. Like Weber could barely skate. The man, we found out later, had a club foot that ended his career that he was playing on. So, and this year, I just have a feeling. I think Tampa Bay is a little bit outmatched by Colorado. I just have a feeling the way Tampa played last night, they're gonna find a way to play that even better tonight, and they're gonna win. I watched the way Tampa played last night. They were such a pain in the ass for Colorado. So I think I'm calling Tampa wins tonight. That's my prediction.
Yeah, and points back too, right? I mean, I don't, I actually don't think he's healthy. I think he's
not at
coming
all.
back because now it's like elimination game, so that's probably why he's back for sure. And honestly, Vasilevsky played probably his best hockey, at least in the finals and last game's overtime, I think. And if he can carry that over to this game, they're gonna win. I think for sure. I did have Tampa winning the series. I think you did as well. But,
yeah,
Yes,
no,
sir.
I had
Yes, sir.
I had Colorado in
Yes,
six.
sir.
Oh, did you? Okay, well, never
Yeah,
mind then.
I had Colorado in 6. You had Tampa in 5. Didn't you say 5?
Yeah, yeah.
And then
now Color
Ponch
Chrome
had
high.
Ponch had Colorado in 7, I think.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, yeah,
No,
not looking
but
too great.
I do think though that they win this game, and if they win this game, I mean, Game 6 will be super fun to watch. It'll be super interesting, right?
Yeah.
But we haven't had to see Tampa like go and win 3 in a row to win a series yet. Like we
Not
have,
yet,
like they've
no.
done it with like Florida, but like not because their backs are against the wall or anything. They just done it.
Yeah.
Against the Rangers, they found a way to pull it out. You know the thing is about Tampa is just like they just have that championship mentality. Like they just know how to get stuff done. Like they, no matter what, like there's whenever they're like super desperate, they don't even seem desperate. Like they just get it done. And I
They
don't
find
know,
a way.
like yeah, they find a way every single time. And I just think they're gonna find a way tonight at least. And they're gonna take it a game at a time. Like John Cooper in the last game, he was obviously upset. Like after the call, and like it's just emotional because he's never even faced this in the finals, right? Where it's like one game away from now losing the cup, because Montreal was 5 games, I think. 5 games.
Yeah, they lost in 5. They won 1 game in Tampa.
Yeah, Dallas was 6 games, I think, and yeah, he's never been uh against the board here, right? So it was probably just emotional, and like I feel like the whole room probably felt like that, but now they're gonna be professionals going into this next game,
Yeah.
and I think that's why they're gonna win.
Yeah, I think same reasons as you. I think Tampa Bay just finds a way to win tonight just because of who they are, their experience, their perseverance, and their grit. I want to welcome Fishy and Hypnotic to the podcast. By the way, I believe this is their first podcast listening in on it. I don't know if they're particularly hockey fans. But it's all good. We welcome everybody. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. We are not offended by questions that you might think are stupid. We don't think any questions are stupid. We take any questions. We're happy to help anyone who doesn't understand hockey. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer, happy to indulge. We just want to make this as welcoming as possible for everyone. So we're talking about the NHL, so the National Hockey League. It's an American-based hockey league in U.S. and Canada. We have 7 Canadian teams, right, Berta?
Yep.
Yeah, so 7 Canadian teams. The rest are American. Total 32 teams in the league. Still 32. And now it all comes down to 2 final teams, 1 Eastern Conference team, 1 Western Conference team, facing off in a best of 7 to see who wins the Stanley Cup. So if you watch basketball, that's their cup. If you watch, any sport really where they win a cup, a trophy at the end, that's the equivalent, but in hockey for the NHL. So the National Hockey League. That's the highest league in North America, arguably the highest league in the world for hockey. Some people would argue otherwise, but for the most part, I'd say it's the best league in the world for hockey.
So
I
just
so
real
yeah, I hope
quick
that helps.
though, real quick. So I mean, there is potential. I know we both said Tampa's gonna win today. There's
Yep.
potential that Colorado wins and it's over. So the Conn Smythe's gonna go to someone. Does it go to anybody else besides Makar?
No chance. No chance.
Yeah, it's got to be Makar, right?
I love Nathan McKinnon. I think he's played fine. But Kayla Mccarthy has just gone to a new level this year, and it's so fascinating to watch. It's so impressive. We're witnessing history right now, or not history, but we're witnessing a historic career right now. I can already tell. Like barring any crazy injury, this guy's insane.
He's so young too. Like I'm just so excited for the rest of the NHL or just the new generation of the NHL players coming up because everybody is so good and so exciting to watch. And yeah, Makar, like what a career he's already had. Like he's now won. He's won the Calder, Norris. He could have a cup and a Conn Smythe on his resume within his first 3 years of his career. I think it's his third season, right?
Makar, yes, yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
He's going. He signed his extension this offseason, didn't he?
I think so. Like, I mean, like, can you even name any other young player that would have that on their resume at all? Like,
No.
I can't even think of anybody.
No,
So
no one.
yeah, I mean, as a Canucks fan, obviously like Hughes, but like this is just insane. So yeah, I think it for sure go to him.
Makar is what every team dreams of when they draft a right-handed defenseman in the first round. That is what everyone dreams of, and they never come anywhere close to it. When I'm looking at this year's draft, and if I see Montreal draft a right-handed defenseman, or, for example, acquire Justin Barron from Colorado Avalanche in their system, my hope is that he becomes at least 50 to 70, maybe 50 to 60% of what Kayla Mccarthy is, and I'd be more than happy. And that would probably be a top 4 defenseman, like a top 4 pairing defenseman on most teams. So it's so impressive what he's done in this early in his career. He's already won a Norris. I'm so excited to see what he becomes. Honestly, he could go down as one of the best defensemen in NHL history by the end of his career because his trajectory is still upwards. He's so young. He's still getting better. That's the crazy part. So
this isn't gonna be his career high.
This is not his peak.
Yeah,
it's crazy. At least I hope it's not.
Yeah, you're right.
Because if you look at Bobby Ryan, right? Like Bobby Ryan kind of peaked when he was really young.
Yeah, but even Bobby Ryan didn't have this on his resume to start the career.
No, agreed.
So,
agreed.
Yeah.
But I just give you an example of a guy kind of peaked a little bit young. But Fishy, Hypnotic. I know you guys aren't hockey fans or aren't really familiar with it, but if you have a chance, game is at 8:15 p.m. Eastern time. Please tune in. Don't watch the ESPN feed. Watch the TNT. If you have TNT, I think it's on ABC. I'm not sure though. But if you have TNT, please tune into that feed. I've heard so many great things. I watch it on Sportsnet because that's what we have here in Canada for the most part. I can't find the TNT feed for some reason, so that's what I watch on. But I've heard so many great things about the TNT feed. They have former Hall of Famers on there. They have a great cast, super entertaining. They try to be like Shaq with Charles Barkley and that kind of banter. Obviously, don't get the same level of comedic relief or the same level of enjoyment, maybe, or same level of entertainment because they're not at that level, at least not yet in their careers. They're still early broadcasting. It's an early broadcast company at TNT, so for hockey at least. But I highly recommend you can watch that. That'd be amazing if you could. Great experience. I've seen big YouTubers. I watch a lot of Tim the Tap Man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I find him super entertaining for Warzone, so I watch a lot of him. And even he started talking. Like I've never heard him talk about hockey, like throughout the years of me watching him, and now he is. He's already bringing up hockey. He lives in Florida, so obviously Tampa Bay, a Florida-based team, they've been winning a lot. And he's starting to get into it. So I highly recommend it. Hockey, especially playoff hockey, is amazing to watch. Super, super intense. Really fun time. Fast paced. So if you guys want a chance to start watching, feel free to do so tonight. Now is honestly your best chance. And if you have any questions, you're in the Discord, guys. Send a message. We'll answer anything you have. And I don't know if they're streaming on YouTube. Berto, do you know if the NHL streams on YouTube? I don't think so. I know the NBA did it.
I don't think so, but like if you do want to keep up with it, what I have is I have them like Sportsnet at least followed on Twitter and Instagram, and there's just other people you'll find like just talking about it, like whether it's some of the analysts or people on each panel. They're always talking about it. So that's just how I keep up with it. Like if I'm not able to watch something, they'll post every highlight, every goal almost, and their captions are pretty funny, to be honest. I remember back when like I don't even remember. It might have been Florida when they were blowing out team after team, like
Yeah.
7, 8, 9 goals. They were saying like, "Oh, we're running out of captions." It was pretty funny, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's the best way to keep up with them, I think. I mean, the NHL does have like a YouTube channel. I don't know if they don't live stream the games though or
No,
stuff. So
as far as I know, they don't, but they do
yeah.
highlights. I don't know why I said
Yeah.
do, but they do highlights on their channel. So if you want to watch the hockey highlights, like so Hypnotic, I know you said if you're not busy, you'll watch it. But if you're busy, you can always just go on NHL or on YouTube, and you'll find their channel, and they'll post the highlights a few hours after the game, usually like an hour or two after the game, maybe half an hour because there's only one game tonight. But you'll be able to watch the highlights, and it's usually about like 7 to 8 minutes. You can skip through some of it if you want. So it's a pretty good way to start getting into hockey, and you can just watch literally all the highlights from the entire year if you wanted to. It's just an easy way of getting into hockey. I don't recommend playing the video game NHL 22 to get into hockey. I mean, maybe some people have found that as a way to get in, but it's so different from real life hockey that it's hard to compare. And so yeah. Anyway, I digress. I'll let you guys ask any questions you might have. I don't want to like shove it down your throats there. I'm kind of just like forcing hockey on you guys, so I'll let you discover it on your own. So let's move on here. We predicted for tonight. We both called Tampa. Berta, the elephant in the room. Danny wanted me to ask you about this. The bet.
What bet?
The bet. If Tampa loses, what do you have to do if Tampa loses this series? I heard you made a bet on stream.
Did I?
Involving your beard.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to shave it, right?
Yes.
Man, I mean, it actually looks kind of nice today. I was thinking, maybe I should just shave it clean. Because I remember I said last time, I was like, oh, I should shave it properly because I made a shaving or trimming mistake. But now I guess like it looks proper now. But I guess if Tampa loses, they have to shave the whole thing. I mean, that's fine.
I mean, hey,
that's
it gives you
fine.
an excuse to try it. But
Yeah, I mean,
mean-
I've always had negative, like I've had backlash for doing that, where we're like saying I'm gonna shave. Like I'll just say, like every single person, or like especially if it's a girl, if I'm just saying I'm gonna shave my beard, they're like, if I'm ever talking to a girl, right, and we're just talking or whatever, like a talking stage type thing, or dating someone, if
Yeah.
I ever say I'm gonna shave my beard, they're like, I'll see you later. Like I'm not even joking, every single
Yeah,
time.
I-
So like.
Mhm.
I'm down. You know, this is a good excuse. I'll be like, yeah, if Tampa loses, I said it. It's on stream. I'm gonna shave my beard. So
There you go.
yeah. If they lose today, man, you'll see clean shaven Berta next
For the next podcast.
next time. Yeah,
or for his next stream. So there you go. Danny. As requested, you got your answer. He confirmed it on live on stream, live, not only on his stream, so he can't even delete the evidence. This is on my channel.
Yeah, exactly. There's
so he
nothing I
can't
can
do anything about it. So
Can't
there
get
you
over
go.
it. But don't worry, Tampa's winning anyway. It doesn't matter. They're gonna win 3 in a row.
I could
They've never
honestly
had to
still
do
see them
this,
winning.
and they've never had to do this yet. So like,
Mhm.
I mean, of course they're gonna find a way to do it. They did it against the Rangers. They were down 2-0, or sorry, what was it? 3-2.
No, 2-0.
They did
They were down
that.
2-0 against
Yeah,
the Rangers.
2-0 and then 3-2 after. No, what was it?
No,
Oh,
they
it
were
was
down 2-0. They won
yeah.
4-2.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
they-
you're right. You're
4 in a
right.
row.
Yeah, there you go, man. It's gonna be done.
So they can. I mean, any team could realistically go on a 3-game winning streak. You never know. That's just the beauty of hockey. But
Yeah, you gotta look at it like that too. Like
the
I mean, we
Rangers
only...
aren't Colorado, though.
No, they're
That's
not,
the
they're not.
problem. So
Hey, yeah, I mean, let's just here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna play it out for you right now. The reason why Colorado won last game is because Kadri scored the game-winning goal, right? He played great, but that was all adrenaline, all right? He came back. He's still injured. His thumb probably still bugs him, so he's gonna come in today and he's gonna play not as good. Whereas Brayden Point's coming in today for his first game
All
back
adrenaline.
since injury, all adrenaline. So he's gonna score like 2 goals, and Stamkos is gonna score 1, and then we're gonna have a goal from like Nick Paul again, and maybe Sergachev for the 5th goal. So that's what's gonna happen. 5-0 win for Tampa. You'll see it.
I might piss some people off by saying this. Tampa Bay played better with Brayden Point out of the lineup.
Oh yeah, he did. They did. I mean, it's actually a funny joke because in my friend
objectively
group,
true.
we always argue about random stuff, and my friend said, "Oh, Tampa doesn't even need Brayden Point to win, or like anything," and we're just like, "What are you saying? Like, why would any team not want one of their best players to play, right?" And we were just
Mhm.
talking about it for so long, and then now it's become a joke that every game that they've won has been without Brayden Point. Like, or they
Yeah.
won like even in the Toronto series, I think they won 2 games in that series with Braden Point, but without Braden Point, they won every single one of the rest of their games, like throughout the whole playoffs. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then they brought him in against Colorado after game 1, right? They brought him in for game 2, I think. And then no, they brought him in for game 1 as well. I'm not sure.
I think he was there for game 1, game 2, and then game 3 he sat, I think.
Yeah, and then they blew out Colorado. And then game 4 he was out again. And then they lost in overtime. You know what I mean? They lost in overtime. Yeah. They played fine. The overtime they sucked, don't get me wrong, but the rest of the game they played very well. The first period they dominated Colorado in the shot totals at least. I mean, Colorado still controlled the puck most of the time, but they weren't letting them get anything on net. So, you know, you give Anthony Cirelli a bigger role, and look at that, he thrived. He played amazing. So now you put in Braden Point, you got Stamkos Point, or Point Stamkos, however you want to do it, and then Cirelli on the third line. Cirelli's not going to thrive as much, I don't think. And then the problem is Riley Nash came in as a healthy scratch. No one wanted him. I think he was a waiver claim, maybe a 7th round pick to get him. I don't know which. This dude came in and played fine. I thought he played great. When he was on the ice, they were in the offensive zone. When he was in the defensive zone, it wasn't for long. You know, he played a great shutdown role on the 4th line. So, you know, you put in Braden Point, you take out Riley Nash. I don't know. Oh, 1 second.
So I'm going to take it away from now. So, I mean, Mike's dealing with something right now, so I'm going to keep talking. So, I mean, besides all that, I hope you guys are all watching The Boys on Amazon Prime, because that's not a sponsor. Oh, he's back.
Sorry.
Okay, anyway.
Go ahead.
Talk about it. Oh, yeah. Okay. Anyway, yeah. The Boys is so freaking good. I hope you guys are watching the show. I cannot get over the last episode. Top 5 episode of any single show series I've ever seen in my life. It was insane. Like, I want to rewatch it. I watched it last night. I want to watch it again. It's so good. Do you watch it, Mike?
So I watched the first, I think, 2 seasons. There's that awkward sex scene at the end of the season that I last watched. Yeah. That really was like, okay, this is gross. Wow, great time for the anime WoW there. And then I haven't watched it since because the show ended, I think. So I will start watching it again. I saw a spoiler about his son. I won't say anything for everyone else. No one has any idea who I'm even talking about, which character I'm talking about. But something about his son sees someone or him in a certain light and doesn't like it. That's all I'm gonna say. I'll tell you after the show what I saw after the podcast. Yeah. But
I'm pretty sure what you saw wasn't a big spoiler though.
Oh, good.
Okay. So you're good. Yeah.
Okay. But
this season's so good, man.
Oh yeah. All right. So I'll give it a chance. And then we have a question from Fishy. Can someone fill me in on who these players are and what they do? So I guess you know what? I'll cover Point and Stamkos. I'll cover the Lightning, and then you cover the Colorado Avalanche, like just the top players, and then go from there. Does that make sense? Yeah. So just like do the big 5 on each team, or big 4 on each team. So, and now what the F is the Boys? Oh man, Fishy's got questions here.
Talking about the Boys, man. I'm so from that episode. You have no idea.
All right, go on about the Boys first. I can see you're pumped. Take it away.
It's on Amazon Prime. Okay, find it some way you can possibly find it anywhere. Okay, there's 3 seasons. The 3rd season's out right now. It's weekly. There's 2 more episodes left till the season's over. It is so freaking good. Okay, it's like if I can like put it if I can make let me try to make it make sense. So it's kind of like a realistic view on like how superheroes would be in this world that we live now, right? There's like obviously the Marvel side of things, the DC side of things. It's all kind of like like it's not as realistic, right? It's like it's like comic book stuff. I mean, yeah, but this is like a real world type thing, and it's like every character is like a knockoff of the Justice League. So it was like a Superman, Batman, like Wonder Woman, all of them, and it's just so messed up. Like the things that happen are so messed up, and like the storylines are just so good. Season 1, the storyline was great. It was super surprising. Season 2 was okay. I didn't like it as much, but Season 3 is some of the best TV I've ever seen, man. It is honestly unbelievable. Try and find it. If you got a pirate or something, man, go do something fishy, but it's insane. Anyway, go on about Tampa Bay now.
Okay, so Fishy's asking about who these players are in the NHL and what they do. All right? They make millions of dollars to play hockey. So living the dream right there. But, okay, so in hockey, there are 5 skaters and a goalie on the ice, generally at all times, aside from when there's penalties and maybe an extra attacker, but we don't have to get into that. Just the basics for now. So you'll have, generally speaking, you have 3 forwards and 2 defensemen, and then your goalie. So you'll have a center, a left wing, a right wing, a left D, and a right D. All right, I wrote it down here. I'll try to put it on camera for you. I have a bunch of other stuff written down, but this is all you need to see. See the LW, RW, LD, RD. My writing's terrible, but that's that. So Braden Point is a center. Stamkos is a center. He can also play wing. The center's the guy. He'll take the face-offs. So when they drop the puck, there's 2 guys that face off to get the puck for their team. Stamkos and Braden Point will usually do that for their team, unless Stamkos is playing the wing. The center usually has a pretty heavy defensive responsibility. They go back and forth up the ice. They support the defense. They support the wingers. They're usually the transition piece that allows the team to go back and forth up and down the ice. Very much a 2-way role. The defense, it's in the name. They play defense. They defend, but they're also responsible for moving the puck up the ice to the center. So they have to make a good breakout pass. There's Berto with his favorite football team right there. And then the wingers, generally speaking, play a more offensive role. You do have defensive wingers that will come back and play a shutdown role, but they're there to mostly put the puck in the net. Like, they're usually the snipers, the power forwards. They're usually the offensive guys. Centers can be offensive as well. Obviously, hockey's very dynamic in that sense. A lot of players can do a lot of things, but especially nowadays. And then you have your goalie. They get paid millions of dollars to stand in front of the net and make sure a rubber puck that's being shot at upwards 70 to 100 miles an hour at them, and they have to make sure. I think it's at miles, right? I'm not crazy, or is it kilometers? I don't know.
No,
but
kilometers.
Kilometers? Okay, that makes more sense.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it is kilometers. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah. Anyway, the point is they have to make sure that puck going at almost 100 kilometers an hour, sometimes up to upwards of 80 and 90 kilometers an hour in game. This is being shot in game. Make sure that doesn't get by them. So it's definitely a tough sport. If you hit by the puck at a full speed by a slap shot or a wrist shot going 90 kilometers an hour, you can imagine it freaking hurts even with the equipment on at times. So it's a tough sport. You learn by playing. You learn by watching. So I highly recommend you guys check it out. It's a fun sport to watch. Don't worry too much about the rules for now. Just kind of try to enjoy it and see if you like it. And if you like it, then great. And you want to learn more about the rules, we'd love to help you. Berta, I guess I didn't really cover who the players are, though. I guess Braden Point, Stamkos are the centers. Stamkos is very versatile. He can play both center and wing. Defensively, they have Victor Hedman. He's this big, tall guy. He can skate well at times, but he's very good. He's very good, level-headed. He reads the play well. Skates pretty nicely. Has a good reach because he's super tall. Good player. And then, obviously, the Lightning have one of the best goalies in the world, Vasilevsky, in nets. This guy stops pucks like it's nothing. In elimination games, he has almost a perfect save percentage. So, yeah, that's the Tampa Bay Lightning for you. And then Nikita Kucherov on the wing is one of the best offensive players in the world as well. So, yes, that's fun.
Yeah. So then for Colorado, you got your top 5 in no particular order. You got their center, Nathan McKinnon. He's one of the best players in the game. People rival him up with actually the best player in the game, but I don't think he is. But he's definitely one of the better ones. Then they got another guy on the wing, named Miko Rantanin. This guy is he's so good. He's a really good scorer, but he can also make like crazy. And then Kayla Mccarthy, who we were talking about earlier, who's probably gonna win the MVP of the playoffs, and he's only 23 years old, 24 years old. So it's crazy that he's doing that. He's breaking records and doing stuff that hasn't been done before at his age, and his career trajectory is just going through the roof, right? So that's 3 players, and 4 I'd probably say Nazem Kadri. He had an insane year. He was among the top players in terms of point totals. He had a really good playoffs. He actually won Colorado their last game in overtime. And then I guess you would probably say Landeskog would be he's their captain, so he's a big part of the team as well. He's a really good leadership guy, but he can also play hockey. He's actually really good as well. He's probably their 5th option in terms of goal scoring, or 4th option, but or get point totals, I guess. But he's insane. So yeah, that's Colorado for you.
Yep, and that comment from Fishy about the girl thing, that is just okay. Thank you for that. You can't move your for months. Okay, cool. All right, let's move on from that. There's a few things to talk about this offseason. Luke Richardson, the former assistant coach of the Montreal Canadiens, got hired or is getting hired. They're finalizing the deal today by the Toronto Blackhawks. Honestly, ever since Kyle Davidson took over, I honestly have been liking all the moves they've made, all the decisions they've made. You know, they've made a lot of better decisions, more inclusive decisions at that. They're finally following through on their promises, following, the incident with Kyle Beach and John Doe too. So it's nice to see that they're finally acting on their word a little bit at least. So hopefully as Rocky Wirtz kind of steps away and his son takes over, we'll see some change in Chicago further play out. So I like this. Anyway, focusing on Luke Richardson here. I love the opportunity they're giving him. I think he honestly more than deserved it in Montreal. Honestly, if they hadn't hired St. Louis, I think he would have been the guy. He previously played for over 20 years as a defenseman in the NHL. I didn't know this. He played up until 2009 or 2007. I don't know which, but he played up till, that's not too long ago. So he played up into the later 2000s. And then he coached as an assistant coach for the Ottawa Senators. He took over as the AHL head coach for their farm team for 4 years. And then he asked Pierre Dorian, who, when he took over as GM, hey, am I going to have an opportunity to coach in the NHL? They said no. So he said, okay, screw you, I'm out. By the way, the girl thing was a joke. Yeah, no, I figured. I just thought it was funny. Just thought it was an interesting comparison. So then he just said, all right, screw you, Ottawa. Left. This is all courtesy of the hockey guy, by the way. I'm paraphrasing. Obviously, he didn't say screw you to Ottawa, but he's much more respectful than I am. And then after leaving the Ottawa Senators, he then, I believe, signed with the Islanders for 2 years and then signed as an assistant coach with Montreal. He finally got the head coach one game in the Stanley Cup playoffs, Game 5, against the Vegas Golden Knights, in which Montreal honestly dominated and won that game. The players wanted to play for him. That was their best game of the entire playoffs, honestly, or one of their best games, I thought. So I was like, man, this guy can be a head coach for sure. And then they decided to let Ducharme be the guy. So I was like, okay, cool. Thanks for that. And then instead of him. And then after they fired Ducharme, they hired St. Louis. And I think Luke Richardson kind of saw the writing on the wall, said, okay, I'm out, and got a job with Chicago. So good for him. I'm super excited to see what he does. Honestly, wouldn't be shocked if he found a way to make Chicago somewhat competitive next year, because the boys want to play for this guy. He's a very smart man, and it seems like a lot of people respect him. So I'm excited for his future. He seemed like a great person in Montreal. He loved it here. Seemed very quiet, but very, very smart guy. So, yeah. Berta, to end the podcast, what do you want to say about the signing from the KHL for Vancouver?
Yeah, I'll just keep it really quick, and I'll probably touch on it later, but after the finals again. But I'm super happy just because we never, ever get these type of signings. It's always we're in discussions for one of these guys, whether it's a college guy or a KHL guy, and it never goes through. But honestly, you guys should just, if you want to see how good this guy is, just go YouTube Kuzmenko highlights. He's insane. Like I'm so excited for him, and I don't even know where to put his ceiling or what to expect from him, but watching his highlights, he looks so good, and I just know he's gonna do wonders here in Vancouver. I mean, let's hope. But yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see what he does. I mean,
yeah.
Honestly, you always hear like, oh, Montreal's in on it, Vancouver's in on it, blah, 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 but it always ends up being Toronto or New York. One of those two. Or Vegas at this point. So it's nice to see someone else get the free agent signing from the KHL. So good luck to him in Vancouver. I'm rooting for you guys. Montreal's going on a rebuild, and Vancouver's always been one of my other favorite teams. So rooting for you guys over there. With the new GM at the helm, the new president of hockey ops at the helm. I think he's the president of hockey ops, right? Rutherford?
Yep.
Right? And then you got the new coach there. So I love Bruce Boudreau, and good luck.
Yeah, it should be fun to see this season.
Yeah, because Montreal's about to tank, so I need another team to kind of watch. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's podcast. I appreciate the recent follow from Hypnotic. Also, I want to give a shout out to Fake South, Melman the Great, Formax, and Fishy for the recent follows as well. Shout out to Hypnotic and Fishy for stopping by for their first ever podcast. Same with Kexon. I also want to give a shout out to our boy Candy, or Carter, from the well, not necessarily from the podcast, but from the podcast community, for hanging out here, as well as Danny. So we appreciate you all for hanging out today. We'll catch you all in the next one. We're going to be watching tonight's game very closely to see if Berta will have to shave his beard or if his beard can live for another couple of days. So we'll see you all again soon. I appreciate all the support, or we appreciate all the support. This will be out relatively shortly, and on Spotify, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts as The Fan Connection. I believe this episode either 39 or 40, so we're chugging along, boys. I'm kind of proud of how far we've made it so far, and we appreciate all your support. Leave a rating, leave a like, drop a sub, drop a follow. Any support really helps. Leave a comment, ask any questions you might have, join the Discord. The community's growing, and it's a good place to be. So we'll see you all again soon, and good luck to the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight. Just kidding. I don't like them. Jesus, I'm not. Oh my God, I'm just a salty Habs fan. I apologize. Honestly, I just want a good game.